When you think you've heard every note, she hits another. This is Swift Shifter, and we're tuning our ears to the remarkable evolution of her vocal style, charting subtle whispers, bold belts, and everything in between. Ever wondered how a voice can become an instrument of reinvention? Stick around as we track each twist and turn on this sonic journey. A voice is not just a sound. It's a fingerprint, a diary, a map of personal evolution. Taylor Swift's vocal journey began in the echoing halls of her childhood farmhouse in Wyoming, Pennsylvania, long before stadium lights ever found her. Adolescence brought not only songwriting but the early contours of her vocal identity, clear and bell-like, pure as the creek she'd once walked beside. Unlike many child singers nurtured by pop machinery, Taylor's first performances took place on rickety local stages, and crucially, at open mic nights populated by seasoned bluegrass musicians. Here, she learned to wield storytelling as much as sound, shaping her voice to carry meaning as well as melody, a rarity among her young peers. In Nashville, Taylor was an outsider, a Yankee with a country twang. The industry expected the high lonesome warble made famous by country legends. Instead, Taylor wrestled with vowels and inflections, unconsciously blending Pennsylvania crispness with Tennessee drawl. Linguists have analyzed recordings from this era. They reveal shifting diphthongs and slight vowel flattening, marking an accent that never fully belonged anywhere but became uniquely hers. Call it ironic, while many artists strive to eliminate imperfections, Taylor's early voice wore its vulnerability openly. Listen closely to demos like Mary's song, "Oh My My My." Her breath catches between lines, notes quiver delicately. Instead of the expected bravado of teen prodigies, she leaned into fragility. Producers later confessed that re-recording takes often meant recapturing those accidental emotional wobbles. The Fearless era introduced subtle changes, smoother phrasing and increased breath control. But behind the scenes, something astonishing. Taylor began training not just with vocal coaches but also speech therapists specializing in resonance and projection. She sought to protect her voice from strain on relentless tours, a discipline inspired by watching peers succumb to stress-induced damage and forced hiatuses. Few fans realized when Bridges replaced choruses in her songwriting, it forced new challenges vocally. On White Horse, for example, the leap into a fragile falsetto compelled Taylor to adapt her breathing patterns mid-song. Every performance risked either transcendent beauty or exposed error, a gamble she welcomed. Music critics often cite All Too Well as a turning point, not just lyrically but vocally. Taylor's timbre darkened subtly. Audio waveforms reveal less upper harmonic energy in her chest voice during the Red sessions compared to earlier albums. This shift aligns with what phonologists call vocal maturation compression, a byproduct of both aging and emotional experience etched into muscle memory. For 1989, a radical experiment, working with Swedish pop architects like Max Martin, who demanded hundreds of takes per song. Each pass required micro-adjustments. How much grit on a low note? How airy should the head voice float? In one infamous session for Blank Space, Swift swapped mince for apple slices to retain optimal mucosal balance, a trick gleaned from opera singers rather than pop stars. There's hidden drama in Reputation, an album often dissected for its lyrical confrontations. But listen again. Taylor adopted darker vowel coloring and more assertive consonant edges, mimicking speech patterns associated with confidence and control. Phoneticians later studied these tracks for their glottal onset frequency, rarely seen in mainstream pop, which delivers both a punchy attack and raw intimacy. Behind closed doors in 2018, Taylor quietly began work with renowned speech-level singing technicians who had coached Broadway legends through vocal injury recovery. She built an arsenal of low-impact warm-ups and custom routines designed to navigate tricky setlists without fatigue, a survival tactic that would soon prove crucial. Folklore marked more than just sonic reinvention. It doubled as vocal reinvention. With whispery phrasing and restrained dynamics, Taylor leaned into understatement for the first time. Listeners reported feeling as though she was singing directly into their ears, a result achieved by meticulous close miking techniques paired with barely there vibrato that created an almost confessional intimacy. It may seem paradoxical, as stadium crowds swelled beyond 50,000 nightly on the Eras tour, Swift's live vocals became noticeably more nuanced and precise. Studio engineers credit strategic setlist architecture. Songs requiring powerful belting were interlaced with softer pieces to manage laryngeal fatigue over 3-hour performances, a feat virtually unheard of at this scale in modern touring. Through all the technical shifts and stylistic gambits runs a through line seldom discussed: her uncanny ability to code switch emotionally through vocal color alone. On recent tracks like Maroon, scientists at MIT use spectral analysis software to map emotional valence in her harmonics, demonstrating quantifiable changes that matched shifts in lyrical narrative within seconds. What propels this evolution is neither trend-chasing nor clinical perfectionism. It's an artist's ceaseless search for authenticity embodied in sound itself. Taylor Swift's voice is now less about volume or range than about risk. How close can she bring us before breaking? How gently can she deliver devastation? If you loved these Swift stories, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tunes and trivia on Swift Shifter.